let's go on this journey together. Week 8 is complete. Summer Shred series is complete. And just like that, another series is completed. I spent the last 8 weeks documenting my summer shred, summer cut, trying to lose some body fat for the summer season. For context, at the beginning of this year, I was on a running journey, and then I did attempt a bulk, and through both of those, I gained a few pounds of fat. So I decided I wanted to lose it come summertime. And I will always say every body is a beach body, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with wanting to lose a little bit of fat. I did not have any set weight. I wanted to hit any number of pounds I wanted to lose. Nothing like that. I just wanted to lock in and do what I know makes me feel best, which I have learned through trial and error and really discovered the best system for me through my 90-day series, which I completed last year. And so I took everything I learned in those habits and implemented them. I set a step goal, increased my daily movement. I had a protein goal. I was meal prepping, tracking my food most of the time, lifting weights consistently, and just making great choices that I knew would benefit me and make me feel my best and lead me towards these goals. And that brings us to today. This was my first actual cut or fat loss phase of the year, and I'm gonna share my results with you. We'll discuss it a little bit, and I'm not really done with this, to be quite honest. I guess spoiler alert, I don't know. But moving forward, just to quickly mention, because I'm not gonna dive crazy into that in this video, is that I documented 8 weeks, which is great, brought me to a great point, but I'm not done. I'm gonna keep up what I have been doing for a while longer, but I'm done documenting this as a series. I want to complete it, talk about it. I'm at a great point. But moving forward, I'm honestly just gonna keep up what I've been doing because I've been really loving it. And honestly, I would like to lose a little more fat slowly over time. So for the progress, of course, I have before and after photos. Well, they're actually videos. I always take them on my camera. So here are some before and afters. Whether you can tell a lot or not, there are a lot of differences I want to talk about, but that's why it is very important to measure things in many different ways. I have some cotton candy liquid IV here. It is so cute and very pink. It's too late in the day for a coffee, but I love to have a drink when I film. Diving right into the analytics, so I use a body composition scale, really in any phase. I love having it and just using it daily, but specifically for series and stuff, and when I have a specific goal, of course, I love to really use it routinely to track my progress. So, I know you want the nitty gritty. I calculated it here for you. The actual amount of weight lost in pounds is 9.1, which is kind of crazy for 8 weeks. But I feel like I've lost that much, to be quite honest. I don't know if it looks like it, but in my body from the beginning to where I am now, I feel almost 10 pounds lighter. I really do. My body fat percentage has changed by going down 1%, and my amount of lean mass in pounds is literally the same. But I will say I am a strong, firm believer that losing fat is so much easier than building muscle. And maybe that's just my own journeys and whatever. It's just easier for me. Like, of course, different things are easier or harder for different people. But for me, losing fat is so much easier than building muscle. Like, building muscle is so difficult and so hard, and you know what? We're not gonna dive into that right now. I also took measurements. So that was my analytics. My scale goes into so many other things, like my water levels, my BMR, all of that. But I feel like the basics to cover is weight loss, body fat percentage difference, and lean mass difference. Because of course I don't wanna be losing lean mass at all. And I didn't build muscle throughout this. I mean, I kept up with strength and protein, and it'd be great if I did. But I did not build muscle, but I also didn't lose any muscle. So that's great. My measurements changes. So I measured my waist, hips, thighs, and arms. My waist, I literally lost 4 inches in my waist, which is actually crazy. But I also feel like that is a place that my body fat likes to lose from. If you didn't know, you cannot target fat loss. When you lose fat, your body just pulls it from where it wants to. So it's very unfortunate, but that's just how it works. And that is due to genetics, really. As far as my hips, I lost 2 inches in my hips. And when I measured my hips, I went kind of around like my lower stomach area. I honestly wasn't sure if I was measuring the right areas, but I just made sure to do the exact same thing when I measured the first time for the before versus the after. For my thighs, I had 0 change at all, but honestly, it's not a bad thing. My body composition scale also shows me where I carry all of my fat, and my arms, specifically my upper arms, my bicep area is where I carry the most fat, and it's a huge, huge insecurity of mine, but I did lose 1 inch here, which is awesome. It's really awesome to have numbers like this because photos are amazing. You know, the scale only says so much unless you have a composition scale like I do. I always have a discount code. It's linked in every single video if you are interested. Obviously, this video is not sponsored, but just letting you know. You can also get it covered through your like FSA and HSA if you're in the US, which is pretty cool. Anyways, so having these numbers and metrics to track your progress is just really reassuring and validating. And honestly, like I'd love to see it because it proved that I achieved what I wanted to. So now, of course, take photos, take videos. Body composition scale is great. Taking measurements is great. Other ways you can measure your progress too include how your clothes fit. I always notice that when I'm feeling really good in my body, I choose more fun clothes, less safe clothes. When I'm not feeling as good, you know, in your closet, you have those staples that you go to when like you either want to cover up or you just, you know, will hide certain insecurities, or maybe you're just not feeling great. You want looser, baggier clothes. And I love to dress in baggy clothes. Don't get me wrong. What am I wearing right now? Right? Like big, whatever. But I will say that when I'm feeling more confident in my body day to day, I'm more willing to branch out in my closet and I'm more willing to just pair things together. And I've been doing that a lot lately. And that's a sign to me that I know I have made progress and I'm feeling good and I'm liking how things are fitting. When I get dressed for social occasions, I feel like things sit on me how I want them to. Also, like sizing and stuff is so variable, and there's so many issues with like women sizing in different stores, and it varies so much and whatever. So it's not like that's always the best metric in terms of like you want to fit into a certain size. So it's not that at all, but it's just noticing how your clothes that you own are fitting on you. If something was tight and then you wear it in a few weeks later when you have certain goals and it fits maybe looser, for example, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's tighter on your thighs than you thought, but looser on your waist than you thought because you're building muscle, you know, stuff like that. And I do feel like I have been feeling really, really good in my clothes lately, and that's a great sign. I also feel like my energy has been great. I have played around with the different combinations for like my meals, my breakfasts, whatever, and I've found a love for meal prepping over the past year, and I have different combinations of foods that I really like. And I feel like specifically the past few weeks, not even the beginning of this series, but the very end of this series, I had this breakfast combination that I would eat it, I'd go to the gym, and I'd feel on fire. I would want to go up in weight, I'd want to do cardio after, like I just felt so good. And that's just proof that food is fuel, right? You need carbs, you need protein, you need fats, you need it all. But specifically, like when you are eating with the goal of fueling yourself, with the goal of eating to fuel a workout, eating to get stronger, but also being mindful of the calories, because overeating and eating like empty calories that add up in the end can make you feel more sluggish, but also aren't gonna help fat loss goals, because when you're losing fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit, which means you need to be eating less than you are burning, right? But all of that to say is I just feel like I've been choosing great food options that make me feel so good and that I know are good for my goals. Like you can have 10 grams of carbs of one food and 10 grams of a different type of carb, and one carb may make you feel a ton better than the other carb, for example. You know, like there really are just foods that are more beneficial, more fueling, for example. And because I've been so good about my diet, my energy's been so good. My sleep is very hit or miss. I feel like it could always use work, and that's okay. It fluctuates. But my recovery and my nutrition have really been feeding into my energy, and I'm just feeling on top of the world. And then my strength, okay, towards the end of the series, I felt like I was really pushing it. I have mentioned in a few videos, so I attempted a bulk. It kind of failed. It was kind of funky, weird. But when I was doing that, I was really trying to push it in the gym, and I feel like it kind of regave me this spark of what it means to push it in the gym. And I kept that up as much as I could through this series. There were a few weeks in the series that I wasn't really lifting, and if you watch the series and kept up with it, you know, of course, I will have the playlist linked in the description box as well as a pinned comment. And obviously, if you haven't watched the series, go binge it now. Go binge it now. I documented every single week, so weeks 1 through 8 of this series. And my lifts the past few weeks have just been feeling so good, and I really feel like I have been increasing my numbers, and I can really continue doing that so much more. That being said, I do record the weights I'm using so that it's not just a guessing game. You know, you do have to be strategic about some of these things, and I use the Alive app by Whitney Simmons for my workout programs, and there's a way that you can record the weights you use. So if you're doing a shoulder press and you're lifting 10 pounds, you know, you'll put you did 10 pounds and you did 8 reps or whatever. And then the next week, you know, if you can go up, okay, 12 and a half, okay, 15s, okay, whatever. And so I feel like I've been really familiar with the numbers I've been doing, and I've been recording everything. So I know, okay, last week I did this. Is there a chance I can go up to the next one? And for a while, I was kind of just going through the motions with my lifts, but specifically, I feel like I'm on this really good wave of like, okay, let's take it up a notch. And even though I've been trying to lose fat, and like I said, I think building muscle is so much harder than losing fat, I do think I'm still eating enough and fueling myself where I can be progressing in my workouts. That's the thing, is you need to find a good good balance. And that's why I do really like tracking, actually. And I know tracking's not for everyone, definitely not for everyone, but I like tracking my food, at least most of the time. Of course, not every single day. But it's really tricky because if you want to lose fat, yes, you have to be in a calorie deficit. But if you want to really maintain your gym level or even try to progress, you cannot be eating in too far of a calorie deficit or it's just going to feel impossible. And so the sweet spot is typically a deficit of like 100 to 500 calories. And when I dip too close to that 500, I feel like my lifts are so much harder. And so I just can't go that low, which means that fat loss probably will take a longer amount of time, but sometimes it might be worth it. You know, like that is kind of dipping into the topic of body recomposition. And that really takes so long. I already feel like this video has been all over the place and I don't know why, because I actually organized my thoughts, but it just, for some reason, I'm just rambling, but also that's kind of how it happens sometimes. So my why going into this, which I touched at the beginning, is yes, I wanted to lose a few pounds of fat for the summer, you know, and I think that's okay. I really don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm wearing less clothing. It's more revealing, right? I am traveling a bit too, and I just want to feel good about myself when I'm bouncing around, when my schedule changes. Like, I just want to feel solid in my body. Also, day to day, like, again, I want to feel solid in my body. I want to feel good. When I have too much excess fat, I typically feel a bit more sluggish, a bit different, whatever. I'm probably also making different choices to have that extra fat, which would be the reason that I would feel maybe a bit more sluggish or less confident or whatever, because I really believe that how you treat your body and how you nourish it then kind of comes out in how you feel day to day. And so not only did I want to lose a few pounds of fat for like vanity reasons and stuff, but also I just wanted to feel better in my body and getting rid of just a little bit, like nothing crazy. Again, this wasn't a drastic change at all. Like, it wasn't meant to be. And I do still want to lose more fat. Like, I have more fat to lose. My body fat percentage is still pretty high, but this wasn't meant to be like a life-changing series. But I do know that if I'm really pouring into myself, I'm taking it seriously, I'm doing what I know feels best with me, I'm just gonna feel so much better in my body, inside and out. And then it just like affects everything, honestly. I feel more confident, I have more energy, like I just feel good. Okay, I feel good. And that was my why. Like, I wanted to get to this place. I wanted to just feel good. The biggest thing I learned was, honestly, what works. And like, consistency is gonna win time and time again. That's the thing, is it's like consistency, showing up, and again, not just going through the motions, but being intentional makes a world of a difference. And some days you might just go through the motions. You know, maybe it's the first day of your period and the maximum you can even do is just show up. That's fine. But being intentional and being consistent and doing what you know works, instead of I'm so guilty of like changing things all the time, which I'm trying to stop doing, being consistent and doing maybe the basic things, the boring things, are just always gonna win time and time again. And I knew that before, but I feel like every time I lock in and do those things, I relearn it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is how it feels. This is what it's all about. My biggest struggle is always nutrition. And I feel like that's the case for so many people, but it really can be tough. And I've come so far with it, but just sometimes you just don't want to eat vegetables. Like, I don't know, sometimes you just don't want them. And I really have rewired my brain, and making specific choices is more automatic, and I enjoy it more because I know I'm going to feel better in the end. But at the end of the day, nutrition can be very difficult. And I always think that's the hardest part. Like, I'm so good about showing up to the gym. I'm getting better and better about pushing it in the gym. And I am great with my nutrition, but it's always the thing that is the most tempting, the hardest obstacle to get around. Something that surprised me is that I was home in Wisconsin for about 2 weeks during this journey, and I was honestly kind of worried. I did have to go home last minute. It was not planned, especially when I started this series. I did not think I was going to be like traveling at all like that or anything. And something that surprised me was that I actually did really well. I did much better the first week compared to like the end, when I was, I think, just getting like really antsy to get back in routine, get back here, be in my place, have my resources, whatever. But I walked so much. I tracked my food mostly, but I wasn't doing as much cooking. I was out of routine. Like, I really thought that was gonna really mess up my progress and honestly just my state mentally, also my state physically. And I did so well. I even got sick. I literally was sick when I went home. And despite all of those, because I was so good about daily movement and I was making such an effort of tracking my food, eating within a calorie range, and, you know, having a protein goal, I stayed so on track. Every time I go home to Wisconsin and I'm like there for a while visiting family, whatever, I just never feel as good in my body as as when I'm actually at like my home and in my routine. And I feel like that so many people would agree with that. You know, you're just out of your element. It's different. But I just genuinely can't believe like how much progress I kept making when I went home because I had a goal, because I had priorities. And although I was doing things differently, I wasn't cooking as much, whatever, I still did the things that were like staples that I knew would help me. Walking a ton, eating specific foods. Like I could not tell you how much tuna I ate when I was home, but it's just such a good staple food where it's like, okay, those Starkist tuna packets, they're a great thing to add in meals. A lot of protein, low calorie, something I don't have to cook. Like just finding specific foods and things like that. Greek yogurt is always like a savior, you know? Things like that really help, and you just have to make such an effort. You have to plan things, and when the intent is there, when you want something, it is possible. I was surprised, but really happy about how we did with that. I think my biggest piece of advice would really just be to find what works for you. Maybe you already know, but maybe you don't. And if you don't, you have to spend the time experimenting. And I'm talking about different foods, different types of exercise, different amounts of exercise, different maybe like protein goals, sleep and wake times, working out at different times of day. Like just find what makes you feel your best and feel so good. And I always think you don't know how good you can feel until you get there, because sometimes, you know, maybe you're stuck in a cycle or you're, you know, not feeling so good about yourself and you just want to feel better, but you don't actually know what that better even feels like. And then once you start making progress and you actually get to like a point where you feel really good and you're just on top of the world and you're really happy with how you're treating yourself and you're confident, whatever, like that feeling is so unmatched. And like you just don't know how good it gets until you pour into yourself and you get there. And so my biggest piece of advice is to find what works for you and just keep going. And I'm about to take that advice too, because I'm gonna just keep going. I'm gonna stop changing it up. I'm not going on a new crazy journey right now. Like if you've been following for a while, I did my 90-day series, which was amazing, but then immediately I decided to train for a half marathon. Like immediately I switched. And then I didn't like lose progress and stuff, but I mean, things changed and it was different for me. And then I tried to bulk and I was whatever. And I'm like, okay, Morgan, you know what you like, just keep it up. Just keep it up. And you can experiment and change with things in the future and try new things. Always try new things. I'm always out here trying new classes. I'm not telling you not to try new things, but when you do know what works for you and you keep doing it and you just keep showing up and be intentional, like things just get so good. They get so good. I don't regret doing the running at all. I just think that I changed things too quick is kind of my point, and I went on like too many different journeys so quick altogether. And I think that is kind of what sent me in a whirl. I have not been running for a while because after my race, it already started getting hot and I'm like, I can't run in this heat. But you know what? When it gets cold, I should give it another go and just mix it into what I'm already doing, because I did learn a lot from running. Like I'm really happy I did it, and I still can't believe that I ran over 13 miles straight. I can't believe I did that. I genuinely can't. But I did it, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm really, really happy that I did it. But now I want to turn it onto you. I want to know, what are you working on right now? Are you in a fat loss phase? Did you just complete one? Are you just trying to find your routine? Like, what are you working on this summer? And I want to talk all about like summer fitness goals and how I want to approach them and what I want to get into soon. That'll probably be up next week. But I want to know, what are you working on? And also, if you have any advice for me or anyone else reading the comments, please drop your best piece of advice. It's really cool to see other people's goals too. It's very motivating to read. And then also if you have the same goal as someone, it's cool. I like it. It makes you feel less alone, and it's just nice. It's nice. So that was my results and thoughts about my summer shred series. Again, if you have not watched all the videos, go binge the playlist. It'll all be listed. I had so much fun. I really love documenting this stuff and doing series and going on journeys. Like, it's really so fun. It brings us closer together, and I just love it. It's very motivating for me, honestly. It keeps me accountable selfishly. Like, I love it for that reason too. But I'm really looking forward to hearing from you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you watch a whole series. I literally appreciate you more than you know. Please subscribe. If you've been here the whole series and now when you're not subscribed, girl, please subscribe. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next one.